kids, and a gorgeous home. What would make me jump in the tub with a cordless phone? I'm straight vicious, I hit you with plates and dishes, leave you with 8 stitches. When I'm gay cause I hate, don't be nice to me, I've had it with girls, and I'll still be mad at the world, even if it apologized to me.
Everything else happened because at that point, when you're saying that this is what's next and this is what you really believe in, who disagrees with you when you're selling 23 million records on the Marshall Mathers LP? You see what I'm saying? Everybody wants to do what you want to do at that point, and then because of his support, it got the right look, and I was able to have the largest debut in hip-hop.
Influence. He controlled rooms, checked rivals, and made sure everyone around him knew exactly who was calling them for nearly 30 years. Sean Combs built a massive empire off pressure, power moves, and straight shots. Artists showed respect, played their roles, and treated the Bad Boy brand like it was untouchable. But there was one rapper he never went at. One artist who spent decades calling him out by name, dropping slick lines, throwing shots in verses, and hinting at industry secrets. And somehow, Diddy never responded, not once.
He had some Mexican niggas. Now, we from New York. You ain't never seen a nigga with a tattoo on his forehead. 118th Street Crew. I'm like, what the this is when I knew Eminem was real. He's like, I don't give a man. This is when I knew, I'm like, damn, Eminem is a real nigga. These niggas 50 niggas outside, what's up? And then the nigga shook just...
That rapper was Eminem, and there's a real reason Diddy stayed quiet. Most people thought M was just trolling or being provocative, but in reality, he was pointing out why Diddy couldn't move against him. This wasn't about chart positions or money. This went way deeper than rap. It came down to real backing, real protection, and a level of respect you can't buy with fame. M refused to play industry politics, stood firm, and moved different during some of the wildest eras in hip-hop. Add 50 Cent and that loyalty into the mix, and the picture starts making a lot more sense. Every diss, every eerie line, every slick reference wasn't random. M was sending a clear message. He wasn't someone to test.
I had never made a call to Diddy, really? I got Diddy's number, just hit him up. Yo, Diddy, what up? Never happened.
You feel strong enough about something, then you might put a little before you.
That's the real reason Diddy never came at Eminem. And once you see it, everything you thought you knew about both of them starts flipping. Before breaking it all down, you have to understand what truly made Marshall Mathers different from everyone else in the game. This was never about Grammys or trophies. This was about something the industry almost never says out loud: real backing. Not fake support, not PR cleanup, not industry favors. Most artists who challenge a mogul like Diddy feel it fast. Careers slow down, radio spins dry up, doors start closing. But Eminem was different. He had something money and influence couldn't touch. The industry machine couldn't just shut off support coming from people who didn't care about Billboard rankings or red carpets. That's where the real tension started. Eminem had connections to highly respected circles on the West Coast, including members of the Samoan community, most notably the Booyah tribe. These weren't industry insiders. These were people known for loyalty, structure, and respect earned outside the music business. When Eminem's manager Paul Rosenberg connected with Monster G, it wasn't about deals or publicity. According to accounts from that time, there were real concerns about pressure Eminem was facing. Not rumors, real issues that needed handling. That period led to the 2003 track 9/11 with Booyah Tribe and Be Real. But the song wasn't the point. The message was loud and clear. Eminem wasn't standing alone. When certain people tried to make him check in with unwritten rules, most artists would have folded. M didn't. And that's where the line got drawn. Eminem didn't fold. He stood his ground. Once it became clear that pressing Eminem meant dealing with his Samoan allies, the temperature dropped fast. Word moved quick through LA hip-hop circles. M wasn't just another artist to test. He had real backing and the confidence to stand on it. And Sean Combs, someone who understands power and pressure better than most, knew exactly what that signaled. But the Samoan support was only part of the picture. What really showed Eminem's mindset and sent a clear message to industry power players came during a now legendary moment from the early 2000s. The Indo Club video shoot was packed, cameras rolling, energy high, then everything shifted in seconds. Suge Knight showed up uninvited with a large group. According to people who were there, it wasn't a friendly pop-in. It felt like a power move. His reputation alone could quiet a room. Tony Yayo later described how tense it got, and the game confirmed the vibe in interviews. This wasn't casual. Suge expected the room to move around him. Security froze. Execs didn't want problems. Most people backed away, but Eminem didn't. According to Tony Yayo, M stood firm and refused to be intimidated, and that moment said everything. While others backed off a figure known for pressure tactics and intimidation, Eminem didn't flinch. No theatrics, no posturing, no begging, just calm confidence. Nothing popped off, but the message landed loud. M wasn't someone you could scare, press, or push around. Suji didn't leave because Eminem backed down. He left because pushing further meant bigger complications. At that point, it wasn't just about one rapper anymore. Escalating meant dealing with people who didn't care about industry status or past reputations, and the industry never forgot that moment. And Diddy was watching. He saw how Eminem handled one of hip-hop's most feared figures without panic. No submission, no fear, just steady pressure. That sent a clear signal. This wasn't someone you could bully, control, or silence with industry tactics. What really made Diddy hesitate came next. In the early 2000s, a powerful alliance formed when Eminem signed 50 Cent to Shady Records in 2002. This wasn't just business, it was the pairing of two forces that balanced perfectly. Eminem's fearlessness met 50's real-world credibility. Together, they became something the industry couldn't intimidate. 50 wasn't an industry plant or a lucky breakout. He came in with a reputation built on survival and resilience. Deep roots, solid name, never backing down. When he linked with Eminem, the message was simple. This wasn't a duo to test. What made that alliance serious for someone like Diddy wasn't just influence, it was loyalty. This wasn't a mentor-for-hire situation. 50 respected Eminem as a person, not just an artist, and that kind of loyalty can't be bought. Everyone at the top recognized it. The respect went both ways. 50 made it clear he'd stand up for M anytime. Anyone coming at Marshall wasn't dealing with one person, they were dealing with both. From public commentary to constant presence, 50 worked like a shield around M. From Diddy's perspective, going at Eminem meant instant conflict with both M and 50 at the same time. That's not a simple rap back and forth. That's a collision with two of the most fearless, well-connected figures in hip-hop. They weren't just connected through music. They were backed by credibility and unbreakable loyalty. Diddy built influence through divide and pressure tactics, isolating people, cutting support, letting industry weight do the work. Eminem and 50 were the opposite. A solid front, no cracks, no price tag. That's what made the situation risky for Diddy. You couldn't buy them off, scare them, or split them apart. With protection locked in and alliances firm, Eminem did what very few rappers dared. He kept calling Diddy out directly, again and again, louder over time. These weren't random jabs or throwaway lines. They were calculated and deliberate. Each one hinted at how Eminem believed things really moved behind the scenes. The pattern started early, back in 1996 on If I Had, a young Eminem already taking aim at the bad boy orbit. At the time, people brushed it off as battle energy, but looking back, it doesn't feel random at all. Once Eminem hit full mainstream status, the shots got direct. On the Marshall Mathers LP, he dismissed Diddy by name. No codes, no hiding. Then on I Am Back, he pushed it further with a pointed reference to Diddy's public relationship with Jennifer Lopez. A deliberate provocation, not shock value. What made these shots different was consistency. Most artists fire once, feel heat, then fall back. Eminem did the opposite, album after album, year after year. He kept Diddy's name in rotation, and Diddy never really responded. In hip-hop, that silence speaks. Getting called out by name usually brings a reaction, especially at Eminem's level. Silence doesn't always read like strength. Sometimes it reads like avoidance. And Diddy staying quiet told its own story. It hinted at a different power dynamic than people expected. Eminem wasn't chasing attention, he was making a point, and the industry noticed. He was challenging Sean Combs' image in real time. Every unanswered line chipped away at that untouchable aura and slowly made Diddy look more cautious, more selective, more careful about what he chose to engage with. This wasn't about punchlines or shock bars. It was psychological pressure, calculated and strategic. Eminem used his platform to show that even with money, influence, and deep connections, Diddy didn't want to step into that situation. Why? Because M had real backing, strong alliances, and nothing to prove. And Diddy knew that responding could open doors he couldn't fully control. But Eminem wasn't done. The pressure was about to hit a whole new level. In 2018, everything shifted. Machine Gun Kelly went at Eminem, and M responded with Kill Shot, a track designed to shut the situation down completely. And it worked. MGK's momentum took a clear hit. But buried inside that response was a line that had nothing to do with MGK and everything to do with Diddy. Eminem dropped what many fans still call one of the most shocking lyric moments in modern hip-hop. He referenced one of the most sensitive topics in rap history, Tupac Shakur. The bar caught everyone off guard. Eminem implied the day MGK would drop a real hit would be the same day Diddy would admit involvement in what happened to Pac. Then he followed it with, "I'm just playing, Diddy, you know I love you." But by then, the damage was already done. Think about how bold that was. Eminem casually tied one of hip-hop's most controversial subjects to one of its most powerful figures on a song heard by millions. Calm, effortless, no fear of fallout. It didn't feel random, it felt deliberate. The reaction was instant. The hip-hop world went into overdrive. Reaction videos flooded YouTube. Fans replayed the lyric over and over. Industry conversations went quiet, publicly and loud behind closed doors. Everyone asked the same question: did Eminem really just say that? And the bigger question: why didn't Diddy respond? This wasn't a normal diss anymore. This was Eminem showing he could say almost anything about Diddy on a public record, and nothing would come back his way. No response track, no legal noise, no industry pushback, just silence. And that silence said more than any reply ever could. That's when it started clicking for people. This wasn't just restraint, it was avoidance. If Eminem was bold enough to publicly touch one of hip-hop's most sensitive topics, people started asking what else he might know, and how far he'd be willing to go. Behind the scenes, industry power players started watching closely, and what they saw confirmed something many already suspected. Eminem moved by a completely different set of rules. The traditional hip-hop power structure is simple. Moguls control careers through radio, favors, and access. Cross them, and things quietly stop working. Songs don't get played, features disappear, doors close. But Eminem never fit into that system. His success didn't rely on mogul approval or industry politics. He built everything off raw skill, a fiercely loyal fan base, and total independence, something most artists never achieve. So when Eminem went at Diddy, nothing happened. No fallout, no punishment, because the usual tools didn't work. Blacklisting, radio pressure, quiet backroom moves, all useless against someone who never needed them. That created a serious problem for Diddy. For the first time, he was dealing with someone he couldn't control, silence, or pressure using the traditional playbook. Eminem had the one thing moguls fear most: total creative freedom and financial independence. Once that kind of power is exposed, intimidation stops working. Industry insiders started whispering. A figure known for controlling narratives and shutting down opposition was being openly challenged by someone who looked completely untouchable. And every day Diddy stayed silent, that image weakened further. The shift was obvious to anyone paying attention. Eminem wasn't dissing for shock value. He was proving the old rules didn't apply to him. And that realization sent a message through the industry: the game had changed. But the moment that gave weight to years of hints came in November 2023. That's when Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit against Sean Combs, accusing him of serious misconduct, long-term abuse, and control tactics. Within 24 hours, the case was settled for a reported $20 million. The speed of that settlement shocked people. And while it closed the case quickly, the impact couldn't be undone. Public opinion shifted almost overnight. Suddenly, Eminem's past lyrics didn't sound like shock bars anymore. Fans started connecting dots. The hints, the references, the warnings about control and power behind the scenes. What once felt exaggerated now felt intentional. For many, that realization was chilling. Eminem wasn't guessing, he was saying things others wouldn't or couldn't say out loud. And now, those long-ignored warnings lined up with official court filings. What stood out most? Even after public opinion shifted, even after the lawsuit validated years of speculation, Diddy still never responded. No defamation claim, no public pushback, no visible industry pressure, just silence. And that silence spoke volumes. It suggested Eminem wasn't bluffing. It raised a bigger question. What else might Eminem know? And what would happen if he ever said it outright? The most unsettling moment came in July 2024. That's when Eminem released the Death of Slim Shady album. Fans point to the track Fuel as one of his most prophetic. Listeners caught a wordplay moment spelling rapper without the P while referencing serious misconduct. The bars were sharp, deliberate, and impossible to miss. Fans knew exactly who he was pointing at. What made it even more chilling was the timing. The song dropped months before authorities publicly moved against Diddy. While investigations were reportedly building behind the scenes, Eminem was already addressing the same themes dominating headlines later. It didn't feel random. It felt like a warning. When federal charges were announced and Sean Combs was taken into custody in September of 2024, many felt the same realization hit all at once. This hadn't happened overnight. Hip-hop had been watching this tension build for nearly 3 decades. Eminem wasn't just dissing Diddy, he was calling things out the entire time. Hiding warnings in plain sight long before anyone else was willing to speak. What once sounded like shock bars now feels calculated, intentional, and strategic. When you line up the silence, the timing, and the lyrics, they all tell the same story. If this breakdown made you look at hip-hop history differently, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Eminem knew more than he ever said? And support Drama and Brief as we break down the biggest hip-hop stories. No fluff, no fear, just the truth every single week.